Hello, I'm Jeffrey Goodman. Welcome to Musicians Roundtable. Today, I'm very excited to have as our guests Ben Salfield, lutenist from Cornwall, England, and Aleksandra Sapok from Poland. Together, they're going to be doing a series of duo concerts in the Cornwall region. So let's get right to it and have a bit of a discussion about what they're going to do. So, hi guys, how are you doing today?
Hi, great to see you, Jeff.
Yeah. So, tell me about the duo concerts. My understanding is that um, it's going to be a combination of Renaissance lute works and then arrangements and transcriptions from 19th century works, as well as Aleksandra is going to be doing some solos. So let's go over each segment together for a bit and see how it's happening. So, can you talk about, for example, the John Johnson piece that you begin with? Uh, well, I'm not going to try to read it. It's a little, um,
The John Johnson music is great. It's all set around. Well, we've got two pieces by Johnson. Part of his huge collection of duets, and they're treble and ground duets that I rearranged for equal parts. And basically, the two pieces are based around five chords and sets of variations that get increasingly complex on those around those chords. And there's a big mishmash of minor and major keys, sometimes within in one little sort of segment or even half a phrase. And it's just very exciting to play and to kick off a concert. And I think it's pretty good experience. I don't even remember what pieces we're playing. We're playing Wakefield on a Green and Trenchmore. Yeah, Trenchmore. Yeah, are the two pieces, and they're just great pieces. Really fun to play and quite fast, but they're quite relaxing to perform. Don't you think? Yeah.
yes. So, Alexandra, you are going to be playing, of course, on the classical guitar. And uh, how is it for you to play with the lutar, with the instrument that Ben plays? What is your experience of that?
Yes. First of all, I wanted to mention that as a solo guitarist, I didn't really used to play a lot of Renaissance music. So with Ben, actually, I went in that part of music which I even enjoy now more because we can play this together. And with Ben's 10 course guitar lute, it depends how Ben call this instrument, is a completely new experience for me because we have a much wider range of sound, of notes. So we can arrange music which is originally written, for example, with piano or for organ, which is basically impossible to do with, for example, another guitar.
Yeah, you can do it, but it's not as effective
I mean,
without.
yes,
Yeah.
not in that range of sound and of the colors. We have something, a new quality if in that kind of ensemble together.
As long as I play the right notes, that is.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well,
That bass work, Jeff. That bass work is pretty hard going sometimes, and you get to the end and you are sweating. You're where is my eighth string? I'm doing an arpeggio that starts on the 10th. What's going on here? You know, but it's great fun as well. Playing with Alex and playing with someone so talented is always a great privilege for any performer.
and for this lute music, a lot of the original lute duets were arranged so that each phrase or so the instruments change parts, so that uh, the lower part then plays the lead melody, and the upper player plays the accompaniment. Are you staying with that particular format?
Yes, we are exactly as you said. We are changing parts over one treble and one ground. Yeah.
So then I see that the second half has primarily French 19th century composers, César Franck, Maurice Ravel, Satie, Gabriel Fauré, and these are all great things. I see you're going to play Ravel, Pavane pour un enfant défunt. And how is that, Ben, did you guys arrange that for your instruments?
Yeah, I mean, all the music in the entire concert, whether it's solos or duet repertoire, we've done the arrangements. As you remember, I'm sure back in 2016, I had published a large collection of lute duets from the English Golden Age. And we're going through that again. We're doing rearrangements of that to do, and also for two guitars that'll be published at some time, hopefully in the next year. And re-editing, re-looking, reworking, working with a classical guitar. From my perspective, the Renaissance stuff was relatively straightforward. I think the hardest part was when we worked on what you're talking about, the piano and keyboard stuff, and the Pavane for the Dead Princess. You know, that's one of my all-time favorites. I remember the Breen Williams version of that when I was a child, and it really sort of stuck in my mind. And one fascinating thing that I've never done with any other person I've played duets with is we were driving through far west Cornwall a couple of weeks ago, and our entire drive on a route that's been voted one of the top 10 UK drives of all time, because it goes right next to the cliffs, you know, along the St Ives coastline in far west Cornwall. We were talking about, what does this piece say to you? And let's talk about this section and talk about that. And we drove for like an hour just talking about our interpretations, personal interpretations of the music, and how we can meld those together and make something different and unique that as a duo that we wouldn't necessarily have found as solo artists. And as to, you know, pretty successful solo artists, that's kind of a new ground for me, that, you know, after all these years, that we can do that and get together and work out yet another variation on how you interpret. And that piece was actually the hardest, I think, for us to transcribe, to get the sounds right. So mainly down to Aleksandra's brilliance, but you know, I just sort of do my best. But honestly, I was taken over by her, you know, her work ethic. She'll do this for 4 hours at a time, and I'm just mind blown.
Well, I am particularly interested in hearing that, because the extended range that you can offer on the lutar, as well as the upper tessitura of the guitar, is going to be something that I missed if you listen to the piano version of it and then you listen to the guitar duet versions. There is some kind of compression that is
Sure.
It's Ravel's music is so perfectly spaced compositionally in terms of the highest to the lowest notes at all times. So I think that this should be a really interesting, in particular, an interesting thing to hear. And then, Aleksandra, you have a absolutely amazing set of solos that you're going to offer. I see the Rodrigo Invocación y Danza, the Bellatoni, is it Django, Brouwer, Piazzolla, and Albanus. So can you say a few words about your Latin guitar solo section that you're going to be doing?
Yes, so for the C, I chose just my favorite pieces actually. Invocation and Dance, it's my favorite piece, like top one of classical pieces for now. I always found this piece very fascinating, and it has so many different techniques, so many different quality of sound, and everything can be played in so many different ways that this piece is still fascinating for me, and I truly love to play this piece. Then it's Bellinati Django. It's funny story with Django, because actually I played this piece because I had a dream about this piece. And then when I said this to Ben, that I had it today in my mind, and he said, you know what? I'm just listening to that piece now. And I thought, okay, so maybe that something would make this piece special, and I decided to play this. And I really enjoyed this Brazilian rhythms and percussion section in the middle. Leo Brouwer is my also one of my favorite composers. Everything here is favorite. But about Leo Brouwer, I did a big research when I was doing my
Studies.
my bachelor
Yeah.
thesis. Yes, and it that different looking at music which Brouwer has in his some parts of his composition time is fascinating to me very much. Un Dia de Noviembre is more from that time when music was much tonal and more simple, but the melody is very beautiful, and I believe that people will really enjoy that piece. It's a short piece, but very beautiful one. Piazzolla is it's actually something what I was listening for many years when
It's a bit crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit crazy.
I know everything about Piazzolla. I listened to every recording, and it was my obsession.
Yeah.
Yes, from many years ago. So actually, funny enough, it's first piece which I play a solo by Piazzolla.
Yeah.
No, yeah, some pieces I played in some other ensembles, but in solo it's my first piece. And Albany's Cordoba.
It's a classic, isn't it?
It's a classic. It's a piece which reminds me everything what is the best with guitar. It reminds me first of all Julian Bream, who did have great recording in Mesquita in Cordoba. I was in that Mesquita, which is truly beautiful, and I remember when
of course, you lived in Spain for
yes,
a while.
I studied in Spain for some years ago, and when I went into that place, I just felt that goosebumps on my skin, and I was like, wow, it's so
evocative.
Yes, it's a beautiful piece. Also not very long, but I think it's like masterpiece in terms of how it's written.
Yeah.
So this is yes, a set of my pieces for this series now.
Well, this sounds great, and I think it's going to be a wonderful concert, and there's such variety and innovation in it as well. And of course, nothing ever substitutes for loving the music. It may sound old-fashioned to say that, but when you have a passion for the music that's deep, that being communicated to an audience is really a gift that you will be offering them. Well, listen, so I know your concerts are coming up soon, and I wish you all the best with that. It's great to visit with you today, and let's get together before too long. And thank you for taking the time to speak with me.
It's great to see you.
Thank you very much.